Hey there! In this lesson today we're going to talk about estimation, which is another word for rounding. When we are rounding numbers, we're looking for not an exact amount, but an approximate amount, about how many. You'll hear that word a lot. And there are a few steps that you can do to make sure that you are estimating correctly. When you are estimating or rounding numbers, I want you to think of a number line, okay? Think of this magic number line with a 0 on one end and a 10 on the other. And right in the middle you have the number 5. Now you have numbers 1 through 4 on this side, and then we have 5 through 9 on the other half of the number line. So when we're rounding numbers, we want to get an approximate amount. About how much. Is it going to be closer to this end of the number line or that side of the number line? Here are the steps that we're going to do when we are estimating numbers. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to underline the place value that you're supposed to be estimating. And you'll know what that is based on the question that is given to you or what in your mind you think would be a good estimation. It could be a tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, so on and so forth. You're going to look at the digit to the right of the place value that you're rounding. If that number to the right is 5 or higher, you're going to round up. And if it's not 5 or higher, if it's 1 through 4, you're going to ignore it and just replace the remaining digits with zeros. So I have a couple of examples as to what that looks like. We're going to start with the tens place. Okay, so I'm rounding to the nearest tens. So I'm going to underline the place value, which is the tens place. And I'm going to look to the number on its right side. Is that number 5 or higher? It sure is. So I'm going to round my place value digit up to the next digit up. From a 1 is a 2, and then replace the remaining digits with zeros. So 15 would be rounded up to 20. If I'm looking at a hundreds number, I'm going to underline the hundreds place value. Still look to the number immediately to the right. If I look to the number to the right in this number, it's a 2, which is not 5 or higher. So I don't round that 3 up. I just ignore it. I just leave it a 3. And then I still continue to replace the remaining 2 digits in the number with zeros. So 324, rounded to the nearest hundreds, would be 300. If I'm rounding to the nearest thousands, same thing. Underline the place value that I'm rounding to. Look to the number immediately to the right, which in this case is a 7. Is 7 greater than 5? It sure is. So I'm going to round this one up to a 2. So 1,710 is rounded to 2,000. So there's 3 examples. I can give you a couple others that I want you to try. You can at this time pause the video and try them on your own, or you can continue to work along with me. Either way, it works out fine. So here's a couple more examples. This marker is kind of squeaky. Okay, so with these 2 numbers, I'm still rounding to the nearest tens place. So I'm going to underline my tens place digit, look to the right, and what would that number be rounded to? 40 or 50? If you said 40, you are correct. Now this one gets kind of tricky. Same thing, underline the tens place. Look to the number immediately to the right. Well, 9 tells me to round up. Well, what does that become? You're right, it becomes 100. Awesome job. Moving on to the hundreds. Here we go. Underline the place value. Look immediately to the right. Where would that 4 go on the number line? this side, right? So we ignore it, we leave the 6 alone, and it stays 600. Now here, we're still estimating to the nearest hundreds. So don't let it throw you if it's more than in the hundreds. Now at this point, I'm still rounding this number, but I have to leave the rest of it alone. So it's still going to be 4,000. 8 tells me to round this up to a 2. So 4,182, rounded to the nearest hundreds, is 4,200. And moving on over here to the thousands, that becomes 5,000. And I'm still rounding to the nearest thousand down here. So I'm going to underline the place value. Look immediately to the one next door. I'm going to write this one down here. It stays 32,000. All right. And there is your lesson on estimation.